Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Tactical Baby Gear podcast. In this episode, Alex and I discuss the trips that we were taking this weekend with our families. We talk about bears in the woods. We answer some of the questions from you guys that you've submitted for Ask TBG. And then I give you guys a 30-day update on my amazing fitness journey. All of that and a few other things, all in this episode. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. And we're live. What movie reference is that? Any? We were just talking about movie references.
The King's Speech.
I don't.
Last plane ride.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like you go through like every Marvel comic thing. You're like, all right, like, can we refresh this, American Airlines, if you're listening?
Right.
Noted. But we've just flown enough to where it's like, all right, like,
yeah, that's the only time.
I saw that 7 years ago when I was stuck on my last plane trip, and so it just got whittled down to like, let's do some historical drama, if you would.
Right.
And it's talking about how, King's Speech, he was stuttering and everything else, amongst other things, I imagine. But and he was like always smoking, and anyways, that's why he died with, like, I think he had lung cancer and all the other stuff. But anyways, in there, it was the first time, like, I guess the monarch had ever given a speech on the radio to like the whole Commonwealth back then, like, all over the world, and like the professional radio host guy for the BBC, I think that British broadcast, whatever,
BBC.
And you see him like doing this, and he's like warming up his jaws and like to be like the proper space from the microphone,
and that's he's like blah, blah, blah.
Well, he wasn't. He was the British. They have more class than that.
Definitely more class than me.
Not more class than this guy. So
you're so classy.
Anyways,
so classy.
That's what I was trying to make a joke of, but I didn't realize we were recording.
Yeah.
So.
Here we are just recording the podcast, Alex. We're trying to be classy over here.
Which is awesome because, unfortunately, for the people listening, they're like, we have no clue what this person's talking about. So what I was doing was I had my hands open, kind of like the surfer.
Hang 10, bro.
That, and I was putting it to the edge of the microphone in my mouth, making the joke of like that's apparently like the distance to speak into the microphone. But Beav then hit record, and he's probably not editing any of this out.
Nope, it's all in there. I hope you guys are enjoying
the internet that. And is now permanently having me looking like an idiot.
Yes, of course.
But anyways, that's the visual that was happening for those of you just listening to the podcast.
We're recording this podcast in an awkward, not as normal time as we usually record, since you and I are both going to be out of town during the time that we normally record podcast. So we're like, wow, we're like so mentally unprepared for this.
Yes, it's a lot later in the day. And
we've got so much on our minds.
So now you're just, business and everything else is the day's business has happened. So now it's
Alex is thinking about inventory. I'm thinking about new products. You guys, we mentioned recently in the last podcast that we were excited. We were going to be working on some new, or we've been working on new things. I think we have it almost done, and it's like, so it's going to be so sick. It's going to be a while before it's out, so don't get like too excited. But buddy, is it going to be awesome?
Yeah,
I'm so pumped.
It's been a work in progress, but
it's been a long time.
It's
going to be so cool. I'm so excited about that. I can't wait till we get a little bit closer. We can kind of like include them in some of those conversations, and I would. Anyways, I can't talk too much about it. I've already said too much, so I'm just stopping. But we're recording this at a weird time because we're both going out of town. You're going to Asheville area, and I'm headed
North Carolina,
just west of that to Tennessee. We'll be in the same, roughly close enough in the same area. Oddly enough, because we didn't plan these at the same time at all. It's just like you're doing that, and then I found out I was doing this, and then we were both like, "Hey, we're gonna be out of town next weekend." Like, "Hey, me too."
Just a quick little getaway with the kids.
Wrap up the summer with
hopefully be out of the
trip with the family this time.
A little less humidity in the mountains, which would be nice.
We can only hope. My brother's actually up there right now.
You see it nice?
Yeah, it's nice, but he was sending me a picture of a bear on the porch of the house that they rented, like walking around.
There's been some bear sightings near where we normally stay, and that would be think I just have to pull out the gun and just drop them because
Yeah,
little kids playing on.
I don't know what's
what's
the laws about that up there. Do you know?
I think the law is if you ever feel endangered by a big bear, the bear
Shoot it.
dies, and instead of attacking me, but would never just go out and actively seek to shoot a bear.
Right. I'm going to show
on the
you
porch.
this.
Like you just stay inside. But oh wow, yeah, that's
That's a bear.
he looking for some honey right there. Might need to for the people watching on
we'll
YouTube.
We'll put
that
it on.
video up. It's
send it
a
to-
rather. It's not. That's not a small one.
No, that's a real bear. Like
Now,
chilling,
I think.
walking around the house.
I think depending on where you live, you can get bear permits. Just depending on where you live. I'm all about hunting, but I don't know if I'd actively go after a bear.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just not my style. But I think your self-defense laws might work for bears
For a bear.
if you're actually being attacked. But like your brother is just gonna stay inside because
He's smart.
he's smart.
I think. Although my mom, he texted that to me and my mom. My mom's like, I know everyone's going to be extra safe, right? I'm like, throw something at it. Like, shoot it with a paintball gun. Let's piss it off and see what it does.
Don't do that.
That's what I would do. Like my younger self, the way I mess with alligators and stuff. That's
we
what I
all,
would do.
we all growing up here.
Did
there's
some dumb stuff.
South Carolina, there's
But,
nothing but alligators.
Yeah. So are you packing, prepping, getting ready for that?
Just doing the last minute.
Dude,
I'll be doing it about 10 o'clock tonight.
Zero packing, zero thinking about it. I'm such a last minute, like I'll pack tomorrow morning before we leave.
For
And
someone
thankfully
who's
my
so-
wife is on top of it with the kids stuff because we're busy. Like, let's face it, you and I are extremely busy with a busy business and a growing business. We got 400 million things to do, people that need us all the time. And then it's like, oh, right, I'm going on vacation. I should probably like pack my clothes.
Actually, a funny story about Tennessee. Last time I went up there for a trade show years ago, talking about packing. Again, extremely busy with the growing business that I had at the time. Forgot to pack underwear. No boxers. Thankfully, I was going for like 3 days. But you go down your checklist, right? Like you're like, all right, I got X, Y, Z. Hop in the car, drive from. I was in Charlotte, so just driving up Tennessee, just a few hours, just based on where I was located. Sure enough, get to the hotel at like 10:30 at night.
You're like, crap.
I'm like, I get in my clothes, kind of unpacking, just it's like, all right, what am I gonna wear tomorrow? I don't have any boxers. Had the nearest place like store open at like at this point 11 o'clock at night was a Walmart that was like 45 minutes away.
Oh,
There was a 24-hour one, so I'm like strolling into like backwoods Tennessee Walmart
like midnight.
at midnight. That was
buy like a
experience.
3-pack of
Buy a 3-pack of boxers. Finally get back to the hotel. It was like 1 o'clock. Like you wake up at 7 o'clock to go to the trade show.
show.
I was like, oh, man. So, anyways, I always triple check the boxers
Right.
every time I
don't know
travel
that I've
now.
ever forgot anything that important like that, but you definitely get nervous about that sometimes. You're like, if that feeling, you're like you forgot something.
Yeah.
But more often than not, you have the ability to just go like buy something like that.
I mean, if
You're
I
like,
need some toothpaste, you just buy some toothpaste,
Right.
or a hotel has it. But
right.
But no, yeah, I haven't done any of that packing. Thankfully, a trip like this, it's like, well, probably going to wear the same exact things I would wear to the office. So
Yeah, grab the normal stuff.
grab the normal stuff and go.
Yeah,
Thinking through all the kids' stuff.
and I know that my kids and family and the girls, and I'm going to be the only dude again, just like last weekend with this birthday party full of girls. And it's going to be me, my wife, the 2 girls, then her friend and her daughter, and me. And it's going to be like, Beav, will you do this? Oh, and when you can, and then hey, can you do? And hey, wait, can you come up here and can you carry that? And it's going to be that's what my vacation is going to be like. And then it's going to be like, daddy, daddy, daddy. And I'll be like, no, I thought this was a vacation. But I know they want to try to do some hiking and stuff like that. So I need to prep some bags here before I leave for some of the stuff I'm going to take. As you guys know, because I assume you follow the Instagram page, right? That I am obsessed with using the cooler pouch to pack stuff and organize things. So I'll grab my cooler pouches that I usually take. I'll pack my drone into a cooler pouch because I can't go to the Tennessee mountains and like make a video without getting drone shots up there. I imagine it's going to be a really pretty view from this cabin in the mountains. So I'll pack it. So anybody that isn't drones or has a drone, the DJI Mavic series, the Mavic Pro, the Mavic 2 Pro, the Mavic Air, so you can pack that and the controller into a cooler pouch. It's amazing. So it's just like one little pouch with a cute little handle.
Grab it,
got what you need. So it's like in the backpack.
It's a little padded. So.
It's awesome. And then I usually pack like the camera, batteries, and chargers and some of that stuff into another cooler pouch. And the two kids have cooler pouches with some of their stuff that we usually put like little snacks and stuff like that, and put a bottle of water in there. And then I use our old utility pouch for a little first aid kit. So we've got like Band-Aids and like the little boo-boo stuff. Nothing crazy. I don't carry anything real crazy in the first aid department. I'm not like 3 tourniquets or anything crazy for it. It's just like you're getting some bumps and bruises. It's not like life-threatening type of stuff you're dealing with on a normal basis. So I don't really carry anything ridiculous in that regards. But yeah, cooler pouches, man. That's my jam.
Yeah, we're I mean, right now all my kids, we just dump them all into one of my larger bags and hope you pack enough.
Yeah.
Hopefully that was being done during nap time. So I won't have to do it tonight. But yeah, definitely packing tonight. Hope I have enough stuff. But where we're going, everything's already kind of
squared away.
So it's just more of getting us there. And thankfully this go round, we don't have to pack all the I'll have one pack and play for the littlest one. Actually, I just got a photo. Apparently, my kids. So our doctor told us like, oh, you should definitely like convert the crib into a bed. This was like, I don't know, 8 months ago. We haven't done it yet because my kids love their crib. So like, why would I get rid of a wall? Like, they're in there. They're perfectly happy. They stand up if they want me. They'll be like, hey, daddy, and they love their happy space. Like, why am I going to do that? Just got a photo. Like, kids are just diving out of the crib today. Like, today was the day apparently they decided that we're not going to hold them back anymore. So I think we're having to do the conversion. But I say that because we'll put them in. They have those little bunk beds at this place we're going. So don't have to bring all the extra stuff. There's already some toys up there. So
that's nice.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
makes
travel.
the travel a lot lighter as opposed to, two of them are potty trained, kind of potty trained. But, cut back on all the diapers. So I'm kind of looking forward to like you can just
travel a little lighter.
A little bit, yeah.
That's a big change. And like, I'm going to definitely, we have to travel light because like all these people, I'm driving in my Suburban, so it doesn't leave a lot of room for like luggage. And I told my wife, I'm like, you don't get to bring 3 bags this time. Mm-hmm. But we're going to be there for 4 days. You don't need a bag per day.
Meanwhile, we
you and I can like travel to some other foreign country with a Daypack 3.0.
Dude. As I did. Like, actually, I went to a Caribbean island for
like a
anniversary,
long 3-4 days.
Anyways, recently, and all I took was the Daypack 3.0.
It's unbelievable how like deceiving the size of that bag is because like it doesn't look that big. You can put so much stuff in a bag.
You might You might need if you're going skiing.
Yeah, like
depending on the time of year,
big jackets on. But like if you're
it really
and like wear like if you don't overpack and you're like, okay, I need like 2 pairs of pants. I need my socks, my underwear. Like this is dudes too. Like I'm sure women can't get away with it as much with. They need their
stereotypically
and their makeup. Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm stereotyping that, but like dudes can get away with like, okay, I'm gonna bring 2 pairs of pants or shorts or whatever, boxers, shirts, socks, your toiletries, and like you're good for like 4 days in one bag
or a month. No, I've started to realize even when I pack now, it's like I used to be like, oh well, I need like shorts for like every other day. Now I'm like, I could probably, short of like getting something on it, I'm probably good for at least 4 days on those shorts.
At least a month on
so
those
like I'll just
shorts.
bring one back up and I'll be gone for like 10 days. But
right. Yep.
It makes life easier. But yeah, so packing with the kids will be a lot easier this go around. We're trying to decide. So it's about a 4.5 hour drive from where we live, which means it'll probably be 5 hours for us just because we'll stop and let the kids get out. But for us right now, it's just been a challenge of like, the 2 kids are front-facing, one's still rear-facing. So when they were all rear-facing, we could leave at night, and they'd most likely go to sleep. So we'd leave at like 5 o'clock. They'd kind of be awake for a little while, and then usually start to just get bored and fall asleep. then we could transition them into a pack and play or whatever. And when we got where we were going, but now like the older boys are forward facing, so I'll be curious. We're gonna just try that, like kind of leave it 4 or 5 kind of time frame, and I'll be curious to see if they sleep or how well they're entertained or not.
Right.
It'll be an adventure on that go round.
It will be. It will be. It'll be an adventure for us as well. I can't remember the last, sorry, there's a bug on my phone. Last time beyond Disney, taking a long road trip, especially with all these extra people. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Though my kids don't get a lot of screen time, so I feel like I could really tap into kind of an iPad sitting, kind of with some
kids something on it,
and probably buy me a good hour because they'll be like, well, I don't even know what this is.
Yeah,
so
it's magic, something new, shiny.
So that should help cut it down. And then we always traveled. Little hack. We always traveled with one of our sound machines.
Mm-hmm.
Put it in, plug it in. That way, when we wanted to kind of signal, if you would, that now's go to sleep time. If you relaxed and whatever, we'll just blast the sound machine with the white noise kind of in the back, and that way it just kind of seems to drown out.
This is your normal sound machine?
Yeah, my normal sound machine.
Right, so like an AC adapter in the car, plug it in, turn it on.
The
other hack for that is there's apps for sound machines. You could play that through the car speakers if you needed to, things like that.
Well, so the thing with that though is if you then needed to take a phone call, or
it definitely
what have you, or you're getting text messages, it's kind of messes the flow. So if you got the ability, it's just super easy, just crank it on, and I found it just kind of drowns out so much more. And then that way, if the wife and I want to kind of talk more, we were never the family that was like, oh, you gotta be quiet, the baby's sleeping. I was like, no, come in here with like a marching band, like make as much noise. They need to
get used to
it.
Yeah.
That
definitely helps.
Like I'm not gonna be loud just because, but so the sound machine is much more just kind of, it seems to just drown them out. We can have a kind of conversation and not feel like we're kind of just blasting them, since we're in a kind of a obviously a very small vehicle, but space. But anyways,
cool. So I was just looking at my phone because we have yet to be able to film Ask TBG. So I collected a few of the questions so that we could answer some of them, because I know some of you guys want answers to your questions. So I figured we could go on and answer a few of these questions now until we get around to actually filming an Ask TBG and get that out and all that kind of stuff. So this question comes from @CodyB_24. And he says, how hard was it in the beginning of TBG to balance work and family? In the beginning, it was tough. I mean, it's still tough. Like, I'm a workaholic. Yeah. I started Tactical Baby Gear while I had another business. And so I was running another business. This seemed like a good idea. I didn't have time during the day to mess with it. I would come home. I'd put the kids, I'd deal with the kids, and we'd feed them, do all stuff, get them bath time, get them to bed. And then I would mess with TBG from like 9 o'clock at night till like 2 a.m. So the balance there was way off. It was heavily skewed on the work side, not so much the family life side. But that was a sacrifice I was willing to make, and that my wife was okay with, because she could see how passionate I was about it, and she has a lot of trust and faith in me. And then over the years, it grew and grew and grew to where I got out of my other business and we went full time into this. And that was, Alex came on as a partner, and there's a lot of nuances to the story, but it was hard. It was really hard, but I was passionate about it. And I tell a lot of people that are looking for something to do or want some of that balance or whatever, that you have to be super, super passionate about what you do, because if you love it, it won't feel like work, and that'll allow you just to continue to work constantly on it. And it won't, as long as everyone's on the same page with that, it's not that
that's
big
the only
of a
point
deal.
I would say, obviously, if
it's just that communication. And if everyone understands kind of the end goal and where you're trying to get with it, versus just being selfish and being like, well, I just want to do it because I want to do it, and then saying like, screw you to everyone else, but kind of putting in that upfront work then has allowed me to have a better balance now, so It was hard, but you work through it. Alex has had his own experience with it as well.
I mean, I've been self-employed ever since I graduated, so you just got to be wired for it. I mean, like, if you want to be an entrepreneur or a business owner, I think there's a difference between being a small business owner and being an entrepreneur.
100%. You know what's funny? I'm going to interrupt you.
Go for it.
And I have to for a second because I heard this recently, and it was a conversation between a couple other people, and this guy was saying, well, I want to be an entrepreneur. And I was like, you can't want to be an entrepreneur. You either are or you aren't. Like, if you're working for someone else and you're like, want to be an entrepreneur, like, you're just not. I can't work for somebody else. Like, and I will if I have to, because I need to make money and provide for my family. And I've had to do that before. But it lasted a year before I was like, I got to get out of here. And
but even at that, like, you could want to be a business owner, meaning you want to be a boss. Like, you want a boss, you want some responsibilities in that regards, and so you can operate a business. And like, I'm in my head, I'm kind of thinking of like a franchise. Just like you're running a business. There's a lot of things that are kind of maybe set up for you, but you're running a business. You can be very successful at it, and still, in my opinion, not be an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs tend to solve problems. And so you create something around solving a problem, and but when you have that sort of DNA, I guess
we're just wired that way.
You're wired that way. So trying to find the work-life balance, for me in the beginning with my other business, and even just Tactical Baby Gear when we were very in the infancy stage, when we got together, you just. I don't know, like you don't know any other way. So is your spouse on board? Is the communication there? And then you just don't know any other way. So you just find time to do it. And if someone, if my spouse, was like, I'm missing out on X, Y, and Z, you just got to reevaluate and put it.
And it ebbs and flows. You know what I mean? And like you said, like you could want to be a business owner, you could want to be an athlete, or you could want to be an artist. But if you kind of suck at it, and like, I'll never be an artist. Like I'm not artistic at all. And that, like, in some regards, like I can make a video, sure, but like if I wanted to paint a picture, it ain't gonna happen. So I think it's like you're either artistic or you're not. You either have that skill set or that talent, or you're wired that way, or you're not. So anyways, that was a totally different tangent than work-life balance, but it was in my head and I heard it recently, so I had to address it.
But no, I think you need to find the work-life balance that, it sounds so cliche, that works for you.
Well, and you know what I mean? Like, you're going to overwork, and then your wife, and I'm guilty of this all the time. That's just why I'm going to Tennessee this weekend, and you're probably doing the same thing in North Carolina, is like, I was just told, like, hey, we're doing this. Okay. Like, I don't have a say-so. Like, of course I want to spend time with my family, and I'm guilty of probably not spending as much time with them as I should, but it's, I have the right intent at least behind it to, like, I'm doing it for them. I'm doing it for the family. I'm doing it for us. I'm doing it to take care of other people.
Yeah, for us, it's kind of like it's the oxygen that keeps you moving. It's like, why do you want to get up in the morning? It's just what drives you. But for the answer 15 minutes later, I really think it just comes to, like, it sounds so cliche, but it really, I think it's, from my opinion, it just comes down to you got to find what works for you and what you become a little more self-aware and decide what works for you. What balance do you want? If you for us, it wasn't the best balance, but it worked for us because that's what we needed. So that meant working a ton and just ensuring we're communicating properly with our spouses and being as available as we need to be to help raise kids and everything else.
Right.
Or you just do it at midnight when everyone else is asleep, and you get 4 hours of sleep, and that's
what you do for a while.
Is.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. C. Lopez 1209 asks, first time dad here. Baby is due February 29th. I just found out. I'm not sure if I'm more excited to meet my baby or get to buy all the cool stuff from TBG. Any tips on what to expect besides the sleepless nights? Congrats on the baby.
Yes.
That's exciting. You should definitely be more excited about getting stuff from TBG. Yes. I mean, that's hands down.
Given. That is a given.
The baby definitely comes second. I'm just kidding. Although I'd be excited for our stuff for sure. But any tips on what to expect besides the sleepless nights? There's going to be a lot of like unexpected, like expect the unexpected, right? There's going to be things that come up that you just aren't aware of or can't be informed about or no one told you about or prepared you for. And I don't know what those things are right now because every situation is different for everybody. It's going to be awkward. And
yeah, I was going to say, be prepared to just feel awkward, and that's okay. Everyone else goes through it, especially as a first-time parent. You know, it's not like you've gone your entire life not having to, you kind of, and for the most part, had to take care of yourself, and now you're having to take care of someone else, and you have that responsibility of taking care of someone else. Or, you've never, I think of it a lot for like first-time moms, right? Like if you're a female who can and wants to nurse, on Instagram and Facebook, it makes it seem like it's such a wonderful, easy, magical thing. It comes out the womb and you put the baby on your chest and voila, baby is nursing. And I hate
it's not how it plays out. Sorry,
not how it happens. It's a awkward, fumbly thing. It's a beautiful thing, but it's very frustrating and challenging for the baby as well as the mom and the parents, because is it getting enough to eat? We don't know. There's just a question. So it's just, I guess I would work on patience or work on knowing that you need patience, because you're going to be tired, and then situations are going to come up that are just very new, very awkward.
Yeah, you don't know how to handle.
And
but that's okay. The side of it is like that's okay, and expect to feel like you don't know what the heck you're doing, but that's normal.
And so maybe just kind of think about this and realize that don't need to jump to any drastic conclusions or get super frustrated at yourself or your spouse or anything. Just know that it's you're going to be awkward. Take the mental reset and then just try to best address it. Because some kids cry a lot.
They just do, and I've said this. I feel like I say this on every single podcast: is that there's no instruction manual. Yeah. You just have to figure it out. And not knowing what to do is perfectly fine and perfectly normal. And maybe you get some advice, and it's okay to ask questions like, hey, what in the world? How the hell do I deal with this? And maybe that's a podcast question. Maybe that's going on Google, being careful about how much you read on the internet. But, it's okay to kind of like ask questions and get information from other places.
What I was going to say is you might find a lot of people just want to give you advice. Unsolicited.
Yes, and everyone has an opinion,
and maybe it's a good way that worked for them. So I would take a lot of things with a grain of salt, and absorb as much information as you can from those sources, but then do what you feel is best for you and your family.
Yeah,
just some things that worked for your parents or your grandparents aren't going to work for your family dynamic, and that's okay. Take the best from what you want from what they tell you, and then apply it to your life, because ultimately, it's your decision.
Right. Couldn't agree more.
If your doctor says do X, Y, and Z, you might want to listen to their advice.
Right.
They probably know a lot more than all of us.
Right.
But
so Don Burgundy says, got a lot of shopping ahead of me in the next few months. Any recommendations for car seats and strollers? I really liked the Recaro racing car seat, but I don't think it fits requirements. Congrats. Sounds like you have a baby on the way. Thank you for your question. And
I'm not familiar with them.
Recaro, I'm familiar with them. They make like seats for race cars.
Gotcha.
And they do like a Recaro like baby seat, like race car looking baby seat thing, which is cool, and it's stylish and all that kind of stuff. I don't know about its like ratings or any of that kind of stuff, but it looks like a race car seat. There's a ton of information and a lot to know about car seats and strollers and systems and what works together well, what doesn't. And then there's finding the balance too, right, of like safety, budget, and just all the comfort, like all the different things. So,
well, one thing I'd say too, especially if you kind of are torn between, one that maybe meets budget and one that maybe just slightly out of your budget that you might prefer based on whatever features it has. I always say a lot of people, if you have friends and family that are throwing you a baby shower, that's certainly something that I would. It might be easier for you to go get more onesies and wipes and buy more diapers and maybe try to kind of hint at or tell. I mean, a lot of people want to buy you stuff for a baby shower. I wouldn't be so chagrined or shy. I'm not the best with the words.
I have no idea what big word you're trying to use.
Basically, smart,
like so
as in
layman's terms here.
I wouldn't be afraid to say, hey, put that out there, and maybe you can have several friends or family chip in to get one that maybe is just that hair out of a budget if it was all on you.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be afraid to do that because the last thing you want to get is a whole bunch of things that you just could throw in the trash because that's no benefit either, if that's an option. But so just a little kind of, hey, don't be afraid to ask for don't be afraid to ask for the big ticket item if you can kind of pull some people together. If it's a scenario where people want to, help you out and give you something, use that. But I would definitely find. So coming out of my situation, I've got 6 car seats.
Lucky you.
Which we transitioned from the bucket seat style that went from attached into the car adapter.
Yeah, the baby seat
to the actual stroller. And then so some factors there I would take into consideration would be how big of a car do you have. You might be limited on getting a bigger stroller just because you don't have a big enough trunk. So that'd be something to kind of consider. We had to consider twins. So what was one that could have, could be kind of skinny enough to, for travel, but also, handle, 2 actually kind of bucket style car seats. But other than that,
I think the big takeaway to that point is there's more than just most of these brands now all have systems and the different things that work together. So, and then the pricing on that stuff varies so much. I mean, you could get into kind of, I say lower end, but geez, I mean, you're talking like $600 for a stroller that comes with a car seat and the car seat base that goes into the car and all that stuff. And they can go up to thousands of dollars. Yeah. And then you're on it for such a short period of time. It sucks. But the safety and all that stuff, you definitely get what you pay for, especially in the systems, because you might get a decent car seat and they all have to pass a lot of these ratings and stuff. So they're usually safe and there's definitely ones that are better than others. But the car seat base, how does it latch in or does it latch? Does it have a base at all? Because some of them don't even have a base and you have to seat belt the stupid car seat into some of these things on a really entry level low end stuff.
Yeah, I would say especially if your car has those latches, that always when you got the bolts underneath the seat, it just makes you feel
a little bit better,
so much more
confident.
More confident that it's you feel like it's almost truly tethered to the seat frame that's bolted to the car.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot would have to happen to move that. So I would look for one of those bases that really clips in. Plus, if you're changing it because you have one car seat and you're not going to buy 2. Well, if you're changing it from mom's car to dad car, that latch system is so much easier to just undo, put it in.
Well, not only that, but a lot of those you can buy a separate base. So that's what we did. We only had one seat because there was only one baby. So the baby and the seat were always together. So I had a base in my car. Brandy had a base in her car. I had a base in my mom's car. So it was hey, Mom, can you go pick up the baby? Because we're both working full time and there's traffic, we can't get there or whatever. Just pick up the baby, clips into her car, and you can buy the bases separate. So that was a huge, big win.
So that'd be something I'd look into as far as the base. Most of them seem to have that now, but
and then on the stroller side of it, because that was another part of this was kind of picking all of it, right? Was making sure that the stroller is something that accepts the car seat. What we've noticed lately is on you get what you pay for side of strollers, the cheap ones, some of the cheap ones that we've experienced that just suck. The front wheels wobbling around like a bag grocery cart. You just want to toss it off a bridge and it sucks. So you made a point before to if you can take it and push it around the store, if you're at Bye Bye Baby or Target or Walmart, wherever, if you can actually take a stroller, the display model, and push it around the store for a little while and see how it performs, see what it looks like, see how it feels. Can you hang a diaper bag from it? Can you not? Or is there storage? Is there not storage? We were both very cautious about the joggers, just because I had a jogger stroller that was given to us at a baby shower, but like it had like bicycle tires on it, and it was constantly had a flat tire. So I switched the tube out, and then ended up like leaking air again. I think a spoke was like poking the tube, puncturing the tube. So it was like this thing always had a flat tire. It was annoying. When it was full of air, it rolled like a dream. It was beautiful. It was nice, but it also meant they had big wheels. So collapsing it down to put it in the trunk of a car was a pain in the ass because it was just bigger and like all this different stuff. So personal opinion, I would say avoid the jogger strollers unless you're just legitimately a runner and like have to have
for
a
everyday
jogger.
use. It's big, bulky, and if you have to worry about air and tires, that obviously.
Yeah. I mean, if you're like walking through the woods and off the road type scenarios, it's probably beneficial because again, the big tires, they do roll well, but it's not the most practical thing for sure.
Well, that's another thing is be prepared for, like, you're going to have to try to break down a stroller a few times until it gets it. Because even, like, they all break down a different way.
And you kind of have to, like, get used to it.
So that'd be something, too, between both mom and dad. Is it one that's just as ease of use? So, again, if you can play with a store model, that would be a huge thing. Just what kind of fits with your style and feel.
Right.
But
and then there's a different style again on that too. There's like a normal stroller, then there's the joggers, then there's umbrella strollers. You're going to end up with at least an umbrella stroller and a regular stroller. And I think you mentioned too, just like, and I guess I kind of hit on that too, making sure that you get something that's going to be making sure that it's compact enough to fit into your vehicle, folded up or whatever. But
because for us, I mean, think as we transitioned, with the third one too, I was like, all right, where does the stroller go? Or someone just carrying the kid because you're starting to get, a lot of stuff. Right.
And then the double strollers, like we got to a point where we needed a double stroller because we've had two small kids then. I can't imagine your situation. I don't even think about it with the three little ones. But then it's like, do you get a double wide stroller or do you get them that are in line with like one kid behind the other? There's so many things to consider. So I hope some of the little bits of information was helpful on like picking out a stroller. I
guess just be mindful. We just transitioned into like the car seat because like my youngest one is now not needing to be in the bucket seat anymore. That's like I call it the bucket. Try to get one that will last long enough as they grow. So when they become forward facing, and then as they're 4 and 5, and they're still in sort of that kind of car seat, but more booster style, that it could transition so you don't have to, because most of those expirations I think are between 5 to 10 years. So I would maybe, if you can, maybe spend that extra $25-$50 if you can once you transition out of the
extra time.
The infant seat clip in, because they'll be in it long enough, so you want to make sure that it's quality enough that it'll last. So 4 years from now you're not almost out of car seats, or 5 years from now, and then you're having to buy one because it's not quite up to par anymore.
Right.
It might be a worthwhile investment on the front end to do that. But something else you might find, we found this with our youngest. We were reusing, obviously we had Britax system, and we were reusing it for the youngest one, and the angle of that infant car seat just seemed to really mess with the way he sat. I think he was just a little bit taller, so he sat into it a little bit differently. So, and he was constantly crying when he was in the car, and we couldn't figure out why. Come to find out that he seemed to hate being in the way the angle of the seat was. So, I guess, I don't know, maybe pay attention to what kind of return policy there is as well, because you might find like you can't figure out why your kid just hates being in the car seat. It could just be the way that he or she fits into it. I say he just because I have 3 boys, but he or she fits into it. Just as an FYI, it took us the longest time to be like, man, this kid, like what kid doesn't, what baby doesn't love being in a car, with the sound noise and just drowns out. He was pissed.
Right.
Just didn't like his particular car seat.
Yeah.
So
cool. Well, we will end it there because we're about out of time. I've got to go to the gym. Okay, let me give you guys a quick update since Beaver started going to the gym. And first thing is, I haven't died yet. which is great.
Oh, actually,
I'm really close because I can barely walk today.
I have spinach in the fridge for you. If you want to do the spinach challenge,
we'll save that for the next one. But I have lost like 12 to 15 pounds.
That much?
Yeah. I started at 207. It was 192 yesterday. That's pretty good.
Good for you.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I know you guys can see, the guys that can see me, I'm dead sexy. Like, let's be honest. No, so but I think I said that in the beginning. Like, once I go into it, I'm going to be fully committed. Like, I had to get there mentally first of going all in. And then, it's like anything else that I try to do. And I try to be like the best at it. And I try to like do it well. So I had to get there mentally again before I could actually do it. So I'm there drinking plenty of water, cut down on the sugars. That's been the biggest thing, is just a bunch of diet changes of like kill the sugar, drink more water, and then obviously the exercise component of it. John's been great. He's been really good about making sure I work out hard enough, but not completely. Like, aside from leg day, dude, like I was like falling down on an airplane a couple weeks ago after leg day. It was quite comical.
I thought I was like walking to the airport with my grandmother. I was like,
so
dude, we gotta step it up.
Let's double.
I mean, I'm a fast walker, but like,
it was so funny. And I'm over here dying. Even today, I feel the same way. Like, I'm trying to go up and down the stairs, and I'm like, somebody carry me, please. But anyways, that's the reason I got to go, because I've got to be at the gym in like 15 minutes, and John's going to be there sitting there tapping his foot. And I know you guys have seen on Instagram stories all my little gym updates, because if I don't post it on Instagram, it never really happened. So I got to make sure that I post it so I know everyone knows I was actually there, because that's how the internet works, right?
That is how the internet works.
As long as I'm playing it right. Guys, thanks for sending your questions. We will get to more of them. We're trying to figure out how to do Ask TBG stuff and all that stuff still, but keep sending questions for that. We will answer them. You can submit them through email to media@tacticalbabygear.com, or you can use the hashtag AskTBG on Instagram and tweet at us, and use the hashtag on Twitter as well. And we will round up all those questions, and we will answer them to the best of our ability. Make sure that you leave a review and a rating wherever you're listening to this. We would greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.